All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello. My name is Darius Anucasukas, and I'm the Chief Market Analyst here at Markets.com. And today is Monday, ladies and gentlemen, the 10th of the 11th of the 2025th. So basically the 10th of November. I want to quickly pick up on the precious metals and to see what's happening with them today because they are soaring. So I thought we can dig into that a little bit. But before we go any further, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, yes, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'm not going to disappear anywhere. But yeah, as you probably if you follow what's happening in the precious metals sector right now, well, we are seeing gold, silver, platinum, those fellas pushing nicely to the upside. Look, I was also, by the way, very quickly mentioning our Markets.com website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist. And also, like I keep on saying during my webinars, that feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. The only thing is that just kind of message me first before kind of adding trying to establish a connection. Basically, just feel free to do that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a quick look at what's happening in the market. So I have a view here and a quadruple view, but let me just kind of put into one. Look, the US dollar today, it did decline in the last couple of days. It did correct lower, but overall, I mean, what we're seeing here is a little bit of a hold up near this upside line taken from the low the 17th of September. It's a tentative line, don't get me wrong. It might not carry much significance because it does have, we do have a few more than two touches kind of ish thing here, but maybe we can count this as one. So that's why I would say I'm saying that it's a little bit on the tentative side. Now, look, for sure, the interesting bit here is with DXY is that the fact is that at the moment it's still kind of picking up pace. We're going into the holiday season when what I've mentioned in my Markets Talk webinar, which you can check out, feel free. Actually, Markets Talk webinars, multiples, because I keep on mentioning this like for the past couple of weeks now, that I think that going into this holiday season and pre-holiday season, I think that we could see a little bit of strength in the US dollar, and well, we were getting that so far. It's mainly to do with the fact that you need to please the consumer a little bit, and given that we right now know that we are facing a lot of challenges, the labor market is facing a lot of challenges, AI is taking jobs, and companies are cutting costs, and that's kind of, it's a little bit demoralizing, right? So hey, you need to kind of feel the consumer. You need to kind of feel the consumer happy, and maybe by improving their purchasing power with the help of the stronger dollar. Then yes, that's one of the options, right? Another option, what I heard this morning, was that the leader of the White House basically said that he's going to give $2,000 tariff dividend to people. And well, look, during COVID times, there was this paycheck that they gave. I think it's, like I said, this one-off payment to people, just kind of like a thank you for this paying a higher price when the tariffs got introduced. Anyway, so but of course we can debate on all that. Look, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, of course, like I said, the DXY right now is showing a little bit of a decline. However, I'm not giving up on this one yet. Overall, I'm bearish, but in the very, very short-term period, I'm kind of expecting maybe this one actually to push back up a little bit. But again, let's see what's going to happen with this upside line, with this little territory, this 99.5 zone. If we can get a nice rebound, push back up, then yes, great, more buyers could join in. But coming back to the main topic, gold and silver. Look, today, look at this beautiful thing. So the technical picture is showing me that we broke the triangle pattern, a symmetrical triangle pattern, and during my videos last week, I kept on saying, look, we're coiling up, and wait for the breakout, wait for the exit, because again, normally I would say that this looked like a bearish formation. Why? Because whenever we're forming some sort of a pattern, we look at the prevailing trend. The prevailing trend was to the downside, so the greater chance for that one was to break out lower. However, we do get exceptions, and actually those exceptions happen quite often. So I don't know if they can be called exceptions. Probably the easier option is always to wait for the breakout to happen. So we got the breakout today through the upper side of it. There we go. We rallied. We clearly tested the 20-day SMA on my Bollinger Bands here, and now we're seeing a little bit of a kind of a slowdown. But look, what's interesting here is that we cleared some of my levels, and I talked about these in my previous sessions, that if we do pop above the 4,043, 44 zone right here, then I'll get a little bit more excited with the upside. But then again, it would be a short-term move to the upside, like up until, let's say, the 20-day SMA. There we go. Boom. Another thing to consider here is if we do draw a little Fibonacci from the current all-time high to the recent drop here, this recent low, you'll see that we have done already the 38.2 on the Fibonacci retracement. Like I said, measured this way. Could we do the 50? I think that there is a chance. 4,134, I think is quite doable. But again, as long as we stay above the 38.2. So this is my approach on, with the help of Fibonacci's. So if we do stay above this area, above the 20-day SMA, I think there is a chance to go towards that 4,134. We could test this area, and then I will be a little bit more on the careful side. If we clear it, then we go slowly towards the 61.8, but if we struggle here, maybe, a reversal back down could be possible. Maybe even if we struggle with the 50%, that would be already a good, indication that we could drift back down. However, at that moment, I would actually prefer to wait for a move back below the 20-day SMA, somewhere around this 4,080 zone, and or maybe ideally a drop back below the 38.2 here on this Fibonacci, which is roughly around the 4,075 zone, and then kind of consider maybe a drift back down. So long story short, with this one right now, we did retrace. There are some bulls who are saying that, oh, let's jump in because this is the cue. Look, I will say it this way: do not rush into things, okay? Because we know that the Fed right now is kind of undecided in terms of what they're going to do with the interest rates coming in December. We know that the FedWatch tool right now is showing more than 60% in favor of a cut. Now, look, I said it several times that I think that they will still stick to the game, and they will go for that rate cut, just to kind of please the White House, in my opinion. So. And that, like I said, that's the kind of my reasoning in a way for seeing those rate cuts. Yes, a lot of people might say that, oh, but we don't have the data, which is true. The Fed is kind of flying blind, as they say, although I doubt that I think that they know what they're doing, and I think that the information still kind of comes to them. So it's probably we are flying blind. They're not flying blind. Anyway, but we know that the U.S. government during this week and on Sunday, they were kind of eventually they kind of agreed to get out of the shutdown, because it has been 40 days already and counting still, and they agreed to look into it. Like they're passing some packages. It still needs to go through, I think, Senate and then the House of Representatives, and then like basically on the U.S. leader's desk. I think it's still a path, right? So this week we should be getting inflation numbers, U.S. inflation numbers. I think that was the plan, to see that on Thursday. Yep, there we go. So I really don't know if by the end of by Thursday they will kind of come out of shutdown. Tomorrow it's a kind of a short day in the U.S. Because of the Veterans Day. So it's gonna be like weird hours. So Wednesday, realistically, again, I don't know. It's a tricky one. So although the market has picked up like sentiment that the market sentiment has improved, and we went into this risk on environment right now where indices are rallying pre-market, US indices are rallying pre-market. We saw actually a recovery, a little bit of recovery here in the European markets as well. Look at this. DAX FTSE is almost hitting new all-time highs. Almost, it's approaching this key area of resistance. So, and on that note, gold has also pushed higher. Of course, this is the opposite may be happening. People are actually thinking, well, you know what? The stock market is rallying. The stock market is rallying mainly because of the probably Jensen Huang being very positive about AI. But I don't see why he shouldn't be at the TSMC gathering event, we can call it that way. So the stock market is kind of, the tech is leading the way today, and I think it will be. I'm recording this one before the before U.S. market opening bell, so I'm assuming that tech will lead the way today. So we'll see. Just like I said, because of all this kind of positivity around AI. Although the market at the other side of the market is still worried because, well, we don't know what's happening with the labor market. I mean, everybody assumes they know, and I think that everybody has a hint. We just need to kind of fully confirm that, right? So, look, we missed the NFP last week, not to mention the month before. So the next one should be only at the end of November, right? Beginning of December. And that's where the kind of the issue arises, to be honest, because we're for another month we'll be flying blind without no NFP, and I think it gives the perfect opportunity for the stock market to rally, because until there's no bad news, official bad news, then the market can just kind of enjoy the little correction back up. But then once we start getting the labor market data, I think that this is where the problem will arise. So, and I think that everybody understands that. It's just that we're officially not getting the data. So it seems like a beautiful plan to delay the bad news, maybe like to allow the retailers to enjoy the period up until the holidays, and then kind of closer to the holidays when everybody kind of already gathered profits, then you can announce the bad news. And especially right now, given that we are kind of in this earnings season as well, so you don't want to shake up the market. Although some companies are delivering good results, you don't want to shake up that with bad labor market, right? Like I said, and this is where gold and precious metals are kind of rallying on, and like we're seeing gold and silver pushing higher. Okay, we have eased off a little bit from the highs of today, but still there is still this positivity, that we could see a move higher. Now, my personal view on this, and I think that I'm still leaving an element of the doubt in terms of the upside, for the upside, because look, maybe what we're seeing right now is a nice little correction before another possible leg of selling, because we had a crazy rally already. Looking at the monthly chart, especially on silver, this is just like ridiculously crazy moves, right? We saw last time, we saw these moves like that, we were back in 2011 and 1980. These such parabolic moves like these, I mean, eventually they will come down. And this doesn't end up being good for the bulls, for those who are holding the metal. But and that's what I'm saying. That's why maybe this little move back up right now could be actually part of a little, move higher, a little bit of a correction back up, failure to go to the all-time highs, and then this is where kind of fear strikes. The reason, and this is where kind of it goes a little bit the opposite way from the general psychology that you need to buy precious metals, because if the stock market suddenly starts collapsing, or not collapsing but at least selling off a little bit, this is where precious metals could also sell off, because look, when the times are hard, you don't want to start printing way too much money, right? Because you need to support the economy and everything, blah blah blah. So you're going to tap into your reserves. So you're going to tap into your reserves and you're going to, try to unload a little bit of precious metals. And to be honest, why shouldn't you do that when the price is at its all-time highs after a parabolic move to the upside? I mean, you will have an opportunity to, pick it up at a lower price again, but at least in the meantime, you can, enjoy the gain and shift that money towards maybe, let's say, giving out a tariff dividend. I don't know, just a little bit of a kind of an idea, right? But look, long story short, of course, it's not the case. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's not the case yet. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. So for now, I believe that we are seeing this little correction. Look, what I'm going to go step by step on this one. I'm not going to try to go crazy in terms of pretending that I have a crystal ball and I can see for the future and look what's going to happen in a month or two. No, but I'm going to go step by step, and at the moment we're at a very interesting spot. We have hit today. We have hit the psychological 50 dollar mark here on silver. So it's in a way nice, beautiful round number. So now the question is, can we see a little bit of a retracement back down? Look, in general, this year we already hit the all-time high, right, on silver. Now we're seeing this 50. The question is, can this be that hurdle which will force the precious metal to slide back down? In gold situation, I think that there is, like I said, there is a little bit of room for more upside, but if it starts clearing this, 61.8 here on this Fibonacci retracement, then yeah, I'm going to slowly go to the upside. Maybe it's going to confirm something of a double top here, but again, we don't know that. We're speculating, right? So I'm leaving all these options on the table, but I'm going to go, very carefully. And if, for example, today even, if this just turns around, it doesn't go to that 50% retracement, which I just mentioned, and if it just kind of, let's say, struggles to remain above the 20-day SMA on my Bollinger Bands here, which this is a daily chart, by the way, and it struggles to remain above the 38.2 on the Fibonacci retracement, now that's where I will get a little bit more excited with the downside, to be honest, a little bit earlier. But again, it's still, it's the beginning of the week. Things can happen. Things can change. So we'll see if the government can come back from the shutdown. So there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of factors. So that's why I'm just throwing out these different scenarios, these different ideas. I hope, like I said, I hope they make sense. Those make sense. If they don't, please let me know in the comments what you think. Maybe like you have a better idea, or maybe I'm missing out on something. But I also wanted to quickly pick up on platinum. This one, look, if gold and silver are rallying, platinum is somehow just subdued a little bit. It's struggling to give us that big move to the upside. Palladium, similar story. As much as I like palladium, and actually I do like this precious metal very much, it's actually a little bit more bearish, to be honest, than bullish. So gold and silver rallying beautifully, great. But platinum and palladium are the little laggards. Copper, also, look at this. I mean, we had a great move, but it's kind of, we had a jump. But my question is actually, is this going to have enough steam to, to rally back up? Well, like I said, I'm being a little bit on the careful side. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, there is a lot of things to think about. Like I said, there are some key levels to watch out for. Very quickly, let me just grab the support line here. So for copper, I'm watching this 993 territory on the bottom side. If we start clearing it, I'm leaning towards the downside. Palladium, very quickly, palladium, I like the 1350 zone. If we clear that, I'm leaning towards the downside. Platinum, as we are at a very interesting spot as well. I have this 1496, but you know what? I think I'm going to start from here, 1518 zone. If we start falling below this, I'm leaning towards the downside. For the upside on platinum, I need maybe a move, a break of this little downside line right there. I think which is taken from the high of the 23rd of October. If we can clear this, we can also jump above the 20-day SMA here on my Bollinger Bands and then consider a bit of a move higher potentially, But then again, I'm taking everything with a pinch of salt. But like I said, with gold, If it holds above the 20-day SMA, I'm leaning towards the 50% here on the Fibonacci retracement, which is on my chart around the 4,134. Let's see if that's going to happen. And on silver, look, silver is comfortably above the 20-day SMA, but I have this highlighted zone I'm keeping an eye on. Look, I will say it this way. If we do push back above the 50, I think that there is some room for some slightly higher levels, and then we'll, like I said, take everything with a careful approach. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is a wrap. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you found it useful. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe. Have your stop losses in place. Risk only what you can afford to lose. Don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. And don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, thank you very much, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.